So this is breaking news out of Michigan. Lansing. The Court of Appeals ruled Tuesday that the Board of State Canvassers never should have allowed a recount as requested by Green Party candidate Jill Stein to proceed because she had zero chance to overturn the result of the presidential election in her favor and as such is not an aggrieved candidate. The panel ordered the board to reject the November 30th, 2016 petition of candidate Frankenstein that precipitated the current recount process. The ruling came out almost simultaneously with a 2-to-1 order from the U.S. Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals which upheld U.S. District Judge Mark Goldsmith's Monday order that the recount must get underway at noon that day, which it did. The combined effect of the two rulings appears to set up further court proceedings in front of Goldsmith, and the Michigan Republican Party has already filed another federal hearing. The Michigan Court of Appeals ruled in our favor, determining that the petition for recount filed by Jill Stein should have been denied, said Ronna Romney McDaniel, chairwoman of the Michigan Republican Party. Dr. Stein is not an aggrieved candidate, and as she has no chance of winning the election, a recount should never have been ordered. So even though this court case should have never gotten off the ground, it looks like the feds are still ordering a recount anyway. So they're going to recount only certain states according to this report. Because according to Michigan, some states are unrecountable. And there's some very odd reasons for what makes these counts unrecountable. Check out this video right here from one of the lawyers that was involved in this case.
The issue that we run into across the state is recountability. In order for a precinct to be recountable, the seats that secure the ballot container have to be affixed. They can't be broken. And the numbers on those seals have to be recorded in the poll book election night, and then they have to match today. If they don't match, the precinct will not be recountable. And the second part of the recountability phase is whether the number of ballots equals the number of names that were written in the poll book on election day. And if those two are not reconciled, then the precinct cannot be recounted.
So basically there's a bunch of weirdness going on there. The counts, the amount of votes don't match up with the voters, the amount of voters that actually voted. So, I mean, if anything, you would think these are the boxes you would need to recount the most. How come it's the law that the boxes that have been opened and the boxes that don't match numerically are the ones that don't get counted? I don't know. That seems crazy to me. Maybe you guys got some thoughts on that. Let me know. Anyway, the attorney, John Birch, and Shute, and Gary Gordon urged the State of Appeals to stop the recount after the ruling. But the Stein campaign stepped in, their lawyers saying that the campaign requested the recount because of what they called the potential for hacking, error, or fraud in Michigan's voter apparatus. Notice it has nothing to do with the actual law that triggers a recount. And had the edge in light of Goldsmith's Monday order that the recount start at noon that day and continue until further order of this court. Brewer told the 3-judge appeals panel, this court has no authority to interfere in any way with the federal court order. So here you have the feds and the Clinton goons kind of stepping in to, overrule the will of the people in Michigan. Like, the people in Michigan haven't had it bad enough from these Democrats, all the years and all the torment and all the money and all the futures that have been stolen. I mean, that entire state is run by Democrats, and for the most part, and Detroit definitely. I want to suggest to you all that you check out this documentary on YouTube called A National Disgrace. I believe it was done by NBC, and it's got one of those peanut reporters like Dan Rather or something doing the story. But it's nuts because it just shows that, I mean, I bet you didn't know that Detroit is one of the best well-funded school systems in the nation. Yeah, it's true. Anyway, these administrators We're spending no money on children's books and spending all the money to rent $1 million buildings downtown. They found warehouses with like jet skis and motorcycles or whatever. It's crazy. Anyway, there's a link to that video in the description. You have to watch it. After the Stein campaign threatened the judges with a federal court order, the judges refused to push back and refused to say or to cancel the recount, saying that they could issue an opinion and a recount wouldn't stop. So they just issued an opinion, but they didn't issue any orders because they were too scared to stand up for the people, to stand up for the Constitution, and to stand up against tyranny from the federal level. The judges actually asked one of Donald Trump's lawyers if he would serve the jail time for them if they canceled the recount. Short of ordering a stop to the recount, Bursch, a former state solicitor, Donald Trump's lawyer, he's now an attorney in private practice, urged the court to order the Board of State Canvassers not to certify a second set of electors if the recount is not completed by December 13th. The federal deadline for guaranteeing Michigan's electors will be accepted by Congress. Michigan has already certified Trump electors for the state's 16 electoral college votes. So here you can see that Trump's campaign is fearful of the true tactic of the Stein campaign, which is to delay the count, to delay the election of Donald Trump so that it goes to Congress, where a bunch of these fake Republicans are going to go there and they would happily vote Hillary Clinton in. Happily. You know they would. They were trying to push the immigration bill. They already passed a fake law bill under all of our noses. If it went to Congress, they would totally vote for Hillary Clinton. Make no mistake. I don't care how many Republicans are in there. So as I was saying earlier, this whole court case started with Bursch and Gordon arguing with the state that the state canvassers never should have allowed the recount to proceed because she's not a candidate that could have actually won, and it's just a huge waste of everybody's time. And the fact that they let it go ahead, that the federal government overruled the state laws for a ridiculous recount because the federal government wanted Hillary Clinton to be the president, is just ridiculous. O'Connell compared Stein to a baseball team that lost 99-0 and complained to the umpire that one run should not have counted. Wow. I mean, yeah, it's a thin veil of Hillary Clinton's power grab. Make no mistake. None of us are fooled. We all know what this is. So this whole recount business is out of control. Michigan is still counting votes. Despite the fact that Pennsylvania isn't going to do it, and Michigan is only going to recount some of the votes, and the rest of the votes that they've already counted are going to go to Donald Trump. So now Wisconsin's just wasting its time. Thanks a lot, Stein campaign. Thanks a lot, Crooked Hillary. And just a side note, it dawned on me while I was making this video that the reason why they won't recount boxes that have been opened or have added votes to them is because obviously there's been some fraud somewhere and they're just going to go with whatever the election result was counted as of that night. I'm sorry, I'm a little slow right now. It's 2 a.m. over here. I'm getting a little sleepy, so you'll have to forgive me. Up next is a story about Wisconsin and the huge amount of time they're wasting for the Stein campaign and Crooked Clinton's pipe dreams. This is from WND on the Wisconsin recount. Though Jill Stein's effort has virtually no chance of changing the outcome of the election, she continued Monday on her recount effort. Official figures show Trump defeated Clinton by over 10,000 votes in Michigan, almost 70,000 votes in Pennsylvania, and almost 30,000 votes in Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, 4 days of recounting has only added to Trump's margin of victory, with the president-elect netting 39 votes as of Sunday night. So he's actually gaining votes in this recount, yet she demands that the recounts continue in multiple states. Donald Trump, who has 306 electoral college votes to Clinton's 232, a virtual landslide, tweeted Sunday that Stein's effort is merely a scam to raise money once again. Stein, who won just 1% of the nationwide vote, shot back Monday at a news conference across the street from Trump Tower, Manhattan, insisting every dollar raised, $7.2 million so far, goes towards election integrity. And she urges Donald Trump to look at the facts. not to make up the facts. That's rich, Jill. That is so rich, considering that you're making up rules as you're going. You're subverting the law and the will of the people. In Michigan, as we saw earlier, she didn't even have the right to issue a challenge, yet she demands one anyway. The libtards doubling down on their stupidity. Will the libtards ever accept Donald Trump as their president? If you guys like this video, please help spread the message, like, subscribe, and share.